Hi Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. You're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to carry us National Signing Day, early National Signing Day. I want to give a shout out. Congratulations to all the high school athletes that are signing on the dotted line and increasing their bank accounts today. It's a little bit different than it used to be.
Just in time for Christmas, I'll tell you.
Yes. A lot of these dudes are going to be making more money than guys playing on Sundays, which is just truly remarkable. Anyway, good morning, JC. Titan them see a Duff Hill Home Improvements. The Gators have two signed, sealed, and delivered. Amir Williams? I don't even know what Amir Williams plays. Somebody's going to let me know. Amir Jackson. And then obviously Miles Graham, whose dad was Ernest Graham. He was never going anywhere else. So he's a heck of a football player. Anxious to see him playing for the mighty Gators.
I think QB. So are you going to spend all day sitting by the fax machine today, waiting for them to roll on it?
Oh yes, that's what I do. I will be probably playing golf today. This will be the only time I talk about recruiting is during this hour-long show.
You're not going to go answer all the probing questions at the golf course today. People are going to want to know, QB, who's coming.
I'm going to tell them pull up Twitter. They will let you know everything you need to know.
Yes, you got to get that driver in the fairway. QB, I tell you, I drove around last night doing some Christmas shopping, and they say, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the city of Gainesville and the surrounding area has about 339,000 people. I was unaware of that, and that was as of 2020. Here we are 3 years later. I guarantee you, there's more than 350,000 people in this area, and I can promise you, after driving through the highways and byways and streets of Gainesville last night, there's 900,000 people in the city of Gainesville. I mean, I've never seen traffic like this before, dude. And I've been here most of my entire life. It is incredible, the amount of traffic driving through Gainesville. But it was you just put on the holiday music, sit in car, and look at your phone while you sit in traffic at many of the.
JC, what did you buy? What kind of Christmas presents did you buy in Gainesville? Why didn't you just order them online?
If I say it publicly, some people might know.
But why did you just not order it online and have it shipped?
Well, sometimes they don't arrive in time, and I used to get nostalgic about going Christmas shopping and seeing all the sights and sounds and hearing all the happy people out there. But when you're mostly in your car because you're sitting in traffic just to get from point A to point B, it doesn't have the same thrill. But I will tell you that we bought a couple drivers for some people, a tailor-made Stealth and another one. We bought, what the hell else did I buy? I bought a couple of purses, this Michael Kors. I'll tell you something else, QB. Anybody who buys a Louis Vuitton purse needs their head examined. It's kind of like those people spending money on these college football players. If you've got $1,700 to spend on a bag that literally looks exactly like the one over there for about a third of that price, you need your head examined just because some guy's name is on it. I mean, really? So I couldn't believe the cost of that stinking purse. Louis Vuitton. And I was like, are you kidding? I laughed. I started laughing. And I saw a friend of mine who sold a McDonald's restaurant a long time ago, who I assume is doing quite well with his life. And I said, would you pay for this, Mike? And he looked at me and started laughing. He said, no, JC, those are for people like you. I said, the hell it is. So I went and got a low-life Michael Kors bag for my mom. Okay? So she got a Michael Kors bag, and that's what we went with last night at Dillard's. But my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, I'm not into it. I'm not into it, man. Some dude's name is on there. It's kind of like players getting paid, because
it's people are talking about the kid that flipped to Texas. Talked about he
that they
couldn't turn down what was offered. Look, there. I'm going to make this. This is my personal opinion. We all have our opinions, right, JC?
Sure.
Out of, I would say 90% of the players that sign their scholarship paperwork today, I bet it may be less than 10% of them are going because they love that school or they want to play at that school. Everything else is for money. It is for money. It is dollars.
Well, I think
And
coaches
if a
have
kid is
something.
coming to your school, that means you paid more money than the other schools that were recruiting him.
I mean,
And I'll take Miles Graham out of that, but everybody else, that's the reason.
Well, I think coaching has a lot to do with it too, QB. I mean, look at Texas.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's all about. If that was the case, you wouldn't see 18 guys leaving Georgia. You wouldn't see 16 guys leaving Southern Cal.
Yeah.
It's all about who's going to pay me. Because here's the thing, JC, collect your money, whether you produce or not. All you have to do is go in the portal the next year and get more money somewhere else. So it's crazy. The Gators win last night. Great win for the basketball team in double overtime. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
I know people complain about this and that, but they won the basketball game.
Who's going to
They did it without Riley Kugel, who is struggling mightily right now. He wasn't even in the mix at the end. I mean, his statistically, I saw this. He's 9 for 37 and 1 for 18 in the last 3 or 4 games. Bunch of turnovers. Just can't play him right now. Is what someone texted me.
He played for 31 minutes and he only had 4 points. But on the flip side of that, how about the production from the guards? Clayton, Richard, and Pullen. Between the three of them, you've got 52 combined points, and Pullen scores 22 in 39 minutes. Clayton scores 13 in 31 minutes, and Richard scores 17 points in 40 minutes. You're getting a lot of time on that court for those guards. And I've always said, not knowing much about basketball at all, but I've always believed that if you're ever going to win, you've got to have great guard play. And they're getting 3 guards right now last night that played very, very well and produced. And that's about it. That's the thing. Richard and Clayton produced 30 points apiece. Pullen gets 22. And Tyree Samuel forward, season high 21 points with 11 rebounds. That helped that 9-0 run in double overtime to seal the win against a Big Ten brand. And that's nice. Lucky for the folks up in Charlotte that got to watch it, because the folks in Gainesville they were sitting in traffic at Christmas time. But I think we've got Grambling coming in next here in Gainesville. But last night was a treat for those people way up there in Charlotte. I guess you could have flown nonstop on American to go watch the game if you wanted to. It was in Charlotte. Thank God it was in Charlotte. I know it was a tournament, the jump man and this and that. But more importantly, it was a double overtime win and an 8-3 record. Hey, Gators, this is kind of gets people excited as when you're getting closer to January, QB. You start that SEC schedule. So 4th win in a row, love it. 4th win in a row, QB. I've been watching.
Yeah, Daryl says on the Titan MR text line, good win over a brand team in hoops last night. Overall, I think we had a good showing in non-conference play.
Absolutely.
We're 3-3 against the big boys in non-conference play. A couple of those games could have gone our way. Yeah, sure. But they're fun to watch, and a lot of it has to do with the 2 new guards. There's no question. Our new big men are outstanding. We rebound the ball well. But those guards. 2 guards, Clayton and Pullen, they are not scared to get things done.
No,
they got a little it to them, if you know what I mean.
I even liked, I know Denzel Aberdeen only scored 2 points last night. He was limited, had about 12 points. He's not a pro, but he goes to the basket last night, tries to throw down a one-hander off the baseline, and I'm thinking this guy's a bench player, and I love the way he just was aggressive on that particular play. I think these guys will develop and fill their roles. And if the Gators get good guard play, that to me is it. Then I think they'll have a shot this year. Make tournament.
The Gator in Tennessee says, I've enjoyed watching the Gators basketball team so far. Really liked them last night. That being said,
Yeah.
Coach Napier needs to get some pointers from Coach Golden about how to use the transfer portal. Well, a lot of our good players came from the transfer portal the last couple of years. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Well,
they'll add some more.
Yeah, listen, everybody's going to get richer, I think, in the transfer portal as opposed to poorer. I know that not everybody in the transfer portal goes
the
anywhere.
Collectives are getting poorer because they're having to pay those guys.
Well, okay, I guess that's their role, right? I mean, what is the point of a collective?
So I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what they're there.
It's stupid, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the only reason they exist, QB. And I think Florida can compete, and clearly Lagway is proof that if they want somebody, they can go against the biggest of the big, and that's Texas A&M and whoever else.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I don't know if they can do that consistently up and down the roster, but they targeted a kid.
We're all in with one player. All in with one player.
It seems that way. So you're really taking a risk there.
You took the chips and said all in.
Shoving them in on those pair of aces, hoping that you don't get beat with three of a kind. I just think it's something you have to do. I mean, what would it be like, QB, if we were talking about Lagway playing for Texas A&M right now? Yeah, what
you would say is they paid him more money, but we're going to pay him more money than what they offered him.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if they weren't able to convince him to come here, even though he's always been thought to come here, what would the reaction be? It'd be so negative and so upset. People seem to forget about what the investment cost is, but I guess since they're not writing a check in any direct way, it doesn't really matter. So they're going to be happy that the kid's coming and hoping he's not the next Bobby Sablehouse, which I don't think he will be, but
let's hope not.
No,
that would be that would be one of the worst investments of all time.
Well, it would really be. And sometimes it's buyer beware out there, but we're going to throw our money at somebody that's hopefully going to produce results. If he comes in and makes a splash, I mean, Graham Mertz is a quarterback, QB, right now. He's Graham Mertz. So this kid. Yeah. So think about it. You're not going to watch this kid play anytime soon. It's not going to be anytime soon if Graham Mertz is your guy.
Cecil says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Yeah, because we got a lot of money tied up in the quarterback position now.
Yeah.
They need to spend their talking about the basketball team, they need to spend their whole practice time at the free throw line.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them. They're not a great free throw shooting team. Look, you heard Chris Harry every time he's been on here, people ask that question. They practice free throws. After they run gassers, they practice. They put them in pressure type situations. But we just can't shoot free throws. I mean, you can practice, and some teams just can't shoot free throws. And we're like 65%.
Yeah, well, Puller was 8 of 10. I mean, he was 80% last night.
Yeah, the team is like 63-ish.
Yeah. I see that. I mean, Samuel had some issues at the free throw line, but he came through in other ways. But I get it. I understand that. But, little baby steps here, man. I mean, they've won 4 games in a row. They beat a quality team last night. They're going to beat Grambling. They'll get them to 9 wins. Look, and the conference is in a week. We're literally starting conference play in a week.
We open conference play against the Big Blue Nation.
All right. I mean, why not? Let's get after them. They're a young team. Why not? You got to go after these big blue teams and teams like this. Who's going to win the SEC? Is it Kentucky, QB? Is that what everybody says, Kentucky?
I'm sure they're their favorite. It's one of the better Kentucky teams I've seen in a long time.
Okay, well, that's not good. But Tennessee, I think, is pretty good, obviously. I think Arkansas and Alabama are
A&M, Ole Miss, and their new coach Chris Beard. They're undefeated, by the way.
Chris Beard is a fine coach. Texas let him go, and it turned out that nothing happened. Nothing came out of that incident that got him fired overnight at Texas. So now Ole Miss is benefiting from his expertise as a coach. And how about Ole Miss signing Lane Kiffin long term? They locked him up. Mm-hmm. They locked him up. They said, "This is our guy. 10 wins again at Mississippi."
Although that means absolutely nothing. But
well, I think to their fans, it's pretty exciting. I mean, I know they haven't won a conference championship and they've never won one. But
I'm saying just because he signed a long-term extension doesn't mean a damn thing. He can leave next week.
Yeah, that's true. But it gives them some realm of thought that when they go and recruit, the coach can say, "I'm locked down here in Oxford. I'm not going anywhere. Come to the SIP." I got a sweatshirt that says, "Come to the SIP." When are you going to get me one of those, QB? Come to the SIP. Not that we're Mississippi fans, but that's kind of a cool ass sweatshirt.
I actually have one.
You do? Come to the SIP?
Well, it's the state of Mississippi Or maybe it just says the sip in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you wear it when you go to Mississippi? Do you like to wear that? I mean,
No, I don't put on my vacation stuff. Like I don't go buy souvenirs, JC. It's my home state.
Okay. Well,
I don't if I don't go to like Colorado and buy like Colorado. The mile
high state.
Whatever.
Arizona,
That's what you do. You go
I did.
travel center and buy all that gear and magnets and everything.
I got magnets. I got hats, Sedona, Grand Canyon. Colorado is a very exciting place if you like outdoorsy stuff, skiing and whatnot. And it's exciting. But yeah, I like buying stuff. I mean,
Tony says on Facebook Live, JC on back-to-back days, making sure he gets his pay hours in.
Oh, well, I mean,
did you clock in, JC?
I did. I clocked in. We got in here early today.
Dan must collect magnets too, because he says it's all about the magnets.
It is. You stick them on your refrigerator. It brings back memories. It's fun. And then when you rent your place out to people, they say, "Oh, wow, he went to Belize. He went to Maine. He went to Arizona. How exciting. These are cool people we're renting from." I don't know. QB, it's just something I love doing. I don't know why. I do have a hat that says Sedona on it. I love Sedona, Arizona. My God, what a place. And I'm one of those guys that does that. I mean, when I go to LA here in a week or so, I'm going to buy something that says Pasadena. Pasadena. I mean, you got
to go in the Rose Bowl store and buy like a Rose Bowl hat or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Rod on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Let me get your thoughts on this, JC. Shane, okay. I'm good with the NIL and the transfer portal. Players have the upper hand. It was a time when coaches would leave at an alarming rate and kids would be stuck with that school, sign of the times. Look, I get that, but there's a difference where I don't have a problem with kids getting paid when they've done something. I have problems with kids getting paid when we don't even know if they're going to be able to make a tackle in front of 90,000 people or catch a ball or throw a completion.
I know.
Coaches have been hired and they have huge contracts, but they've been hired because of what they've previously done.
True.
And they leave. The transfer portal, they need to go back to the old ways where you can transfer maybe just one time without sitting out, or if you do transfer, you have to sit out. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the answer is, but I have a problem paying players that you don't even know are going to be worth a damn.
Well, it just feels like gambling without any payoff. I mean, you're gambling thinking that something's going to come to you, but what is it that's coming to you? You're spending the money. What do you get in return for that investment? And it doesn't feel like you get much of a return other than getting to watch the guy that you are proudly feeling responsible for coming to play well. But what if he
JC stroked a check for our new left tackle from wherever that you're paying him astronomical dollars and you're sitting in the touchdown terrace. Big 74 is standing on the sidelines the whole game. How pissed off are you?
And then when he comes in, it's false start, it's holding, it's all this, which is okay. Those are mistakes that everybody makes. But it's like, why did I write that check? What am I thinking? Why did I do that? There is a thing called buyer's remorse out there, QB. But we're going to be positive and hope that Lagway wins the Heisman Trophy and runs for 2,000 yards as a running passing quarterback and wins and beats the Georgia freaking Bulldogs and wins the East. Or, well, we don't have the East anymore, but gets into one of the top two spots. That's what you got to be believing if you're spending that money. You got to believe that. But I don't know if it's fantasy or if it's reality. We'll have to find out.
This question here.
I'm playing golf today.
John says, since it's all about money, how much NIL do you think the kid from Germany got? Now, that may be a different story, but I can promise you, the kids that everybody else wanted are making a lot of money.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like mind-boggling. You'd be like, "Are you kidding me?"
And you think about it, I know. And you think about these kids playing in high school, and they're wondering to themselves, as they're high school students, "Man, I got to light they ass up this day because people are going to be watching me, so that maybe I can get paid." It changes the entire mindset of high school players. Now they're thinking about, auditioning for money that could be coming to them from some collective out there, rather than just beating, Jefferson Davis High School across town. You know what I mean? So I think that would be, certainly, if I had a kid and I knew that schools were looking at that kid and there was money coming and he had a Friday night game, I'm thinking about, oh my God, he can't get hurt. Oh my God, he's got to produce. And, maybe we'll win the game. But the other two things are what matters more now. And that's going to change the way things are in high school, just for junior college kids and high school kids. We're now auditioning for jobs, basically, to get paid money instead of beating Robert E. Lee across town, which my Montgomery friends from college used to always talk about. Man, we beat Jeff Davis. Man, we beat Robert E. Lee. Man, we beat this. We beat that. Now it's I had 300 yards running, and, man, I hope that coach at A&M really was impressed. And I hope he tells those people in College Station to open up that wallet because, man, I know we lost the game, but, man, I got to get paid. Now, is that good? Is that really what we're trying to do?
That's what they do, though. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. Speaking with JC on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements, we have a lot of people here on Facebook talking about Kirby Smart becoming the Falcons coach today.
I talked about this yesterday, QB. I don't know why I heard this. There's no way. Okay.
I don't think there's any way.
There's no way. But why is it coming up? I mean, what's this all about?
Because he's 30 miles away, or however far Athens is.
Yeah.
And the Falcons stink, and nobody likes their coach.
They stink. They're awful. Except Arthur Blank, and I don't know how he hired this guy Smith, but I've been getting that vibe too, that this guy. But Kirby, he's got the Georgia Bulldog. I mean, you hear him talk in the locker room, and the way he talks about his kids and how he cared about them after that Alabama game, and the things he said following this incredible 29-game streak and 2-year run. And now you're just telling me he's dumping all that just to go walk across the street to go coach.
I don't believe it, because Georgia will match whatever Arthur Blank throws at. And he's got to. It's just all he's got to do is click his fingers and he gets players. I mean, he doesn't have to put a whole lot into it.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's going to replace those 18 they lost, and whatever happens, there's no question about it. But maybe he's like you. He's one of those guys that says, man, I just love to coach ball. I don't have to deal with it. I don't want to deal with all this off the field distraction and all of this nonsense with the NIL until they figure out what to do with it. I'm tired of this crap. I'm going to take my staff and go to the Falcons, where basically I'm a GM now, or I've got a GM that I can work with by myself with him, and we can draft players like this. The Falcons are going to have plenty of picks. And I don't know, man. I can see the attraction, but at the same time, he is the king of Athens, right? He does whatever he wants in Georgia, and right now they're on top of football, and it'd be hard to see him leaving. But I've heard it. Yeah. I've heard that he might.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been that talk, but I don't see him leaving. 31 Ember on YouTube brought to you by Quacklands. Coaching in the NFL has to be way easier than chasing recruits and dealing. That's why.
Yes,
you've seen multiple college coaches leave to take. Now, pro coaches don't make nearly as much money unless you're as college coaches.
They don't.
College coaches make way more money.
So you're saying that these college coaches make more than Bill Belichick, or?
Okay, you just threw out Bill Belichick, one of the great. I'm talking about, you name whoever the coach of the Falcons. I bet Sean Payton's only making about $4 or $5 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but these SEC coaches make way more money than these NFL.
It's just, I have a hard time thinking Mark Stoops makes more money than Sean McVay.
He does.
Wow. That's
and all the assistants in college make more than the pros.
Well,
but you don't. But you all you do is coach football.
Well, that's it, right? Yeah,
it's less stress, so to speak.
I mean, you're basically just dealing with an owner. You deal with an owner and a general manager, and if you're the general manager, you deal with just the owner, and that is a much different environment. But it's not for everybody. But now that college has changed so dramatically, maybe it is for more people. We'll see. We'll see who goes. It's hard for me to quantify all this. It's football, but in college game, it's a lot more than that, man. You've got to mow the grass. You've got to trim the hedges. You've got to paint the doors. You got to replace the roof. You gotta. It's like owning a damn house. What a pain. Is that why you don't like owning houses, QB?
I do have a house.
Well, I know, but isn't it a pain in the ass sometimes?
Oh yeah, owning it. Yeah, it is. Ted wants to know, when does the collective get involved in the recruiting process? Does the collective sign off on an offer to a recruit? I don't know how it all works, Ted, quite honestly. Okay, Sean Payton is a poor. Okay, I was wrong then. They 18 million a year.
Yeah. That's a long way from 4, QB.
Okay,
but,
there is no way. There is no way. All right, I'm going to Google somebody right now. There is no way. Zach, let's put Zach Taylor. Let's see what Zach Taylor makes at the Bengals.
I'll bet you it's 10.
There's no way.
I bet you it's 10 or more.
He makes 3.5 million.
Okay, really? So you basically have to be a Hall of Fame coach to get those double-digit figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. You can't tell me that Pete Carroll's not going to make more money than Mark Stoops. Okay, I don't believe.
Well, I guess because I've been out of the league for so long, they used to not make that much money. I know that.
Well, Pete Carroll. Anyway. I'm pretty sure Pete Carroll makes more money than Mark Stoops, but I'm not sure.
He probably does.
But I'm not sure that Robert Saleh does. And I'm not. And you know.
All right, so I'm getting texts now that Bill Belichick makes 25 million a year. What a waste of money that is.
He's 2-9, 2-10. Well, he's won 7, or him and Brady, I should say. You always have to say Brady.
I thought the NFL coaches were making 4 or 5 million a year.
Yeah, QB. I think that's why I reacted rather surprised when you said that.
Well, some of them don't. I mean, the ones that won Super Bowls, possibly, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sean Steichen at the Colts. I can't imagine Shane Steichen. I rather. But you know, I'm sure that Jeffrey Lurie pays that guy in Philadelphia a pretty healthy salary. Okay, and I'm almost positive that a guy like Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, certainly Andy Reid, QB.
All right, so they jacked their price. The Sirianni guy makes $6 million.
Okay, what do you think Andy Reid pulls in? I guarantee it's in the teens. Teens, got to be in the teens.
Yeah, they've obviously. I have not looked at this in years because they used to not make that much.
Sean McDermott of Buffalo probably makes more than Mark Stoops.
Andy Reid makes $12 million.
How about right?
Okay.
So
all right, I was wrong. All right, JC, let's get to this day in sports.
Okay.
I need you to give me a
okay.
Hang on, I'm reading text and trying to do all this. This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. 1985, sportscaster Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Give me a Howard Cosell, JC. He retired from television after 20 years with ABC.
You've got to love what Walt Michaels has done with the Jets, the fabulous Jets, and Richard Todd at quarterback. Yeah, I mean, he was a legend. He did Monday Night Baseball. He did football Monday night. He was this. He was it. We don't have him like that anymore. I tell you who I like that everybody doesn't like is Gus Johnson. I think he's fun to listen to. Some people think he's over the top. I think he's great.
Everybody's giving me every NFL coach's salary now. I mean, all these guys have won Super Bowls that are making in the teens.
Well, I mean, I thought Sean McVay would make more than Mark Stoops.
Well, he's won a damn Super Bowl, JC.
That's right. But, you know, Zach Taylor was a good example. The Bengals are cheap anyway. Aren't they notoriously cheap? I can guarantee you John Harbaugh makes more money than probably his brother.
Well, he's won a Super Bowl.
True, but I think he's probably getting paid more than Jim. And now you're right about.
Although he's getting ready to be the highest paid college coach, right?
Well, I think Nick is still 12. I think they offered Jim 11. I don't think he's coming back to Michigan. I think he's going to go to another. He's going to go to the NFL.
Kevin Stefanski makes $3.5 million with the
right. And Matt Eberflus of the Bears. You can't tell me he's making Sean McVay the money. And
no, he's making
And what about LaFleur? LaFleur at Green Bay. He didn't win any Super Bowl. And then of course we have that great coach in Detroit, Big Dan. I don't know what they're paying him, but I'm sure it's going to be raised after they win the division this year. So we'll go with that. And you know, the guy at Minnesota is probably making 4 or 5 at the most. So in a way, QB, you were right. I mean, you were right about probably a half of the coaches in the NFL and you missed on some of the bigger names in the NFL, but that's not bad.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. I got some other things I got to run by here, JC, for a few minutes, and we'll let you go. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
All right.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
All right, Coach. Last year, the best party in Gator Nation was at Spurrier's Visor's Rooftop. But now, we're in 23, we're celebrating this year what the restaurant has planned for this year, New Year's Eve.
That's right. We got usual great food here at Spurrier's. We got wonderful music, and it's the best way to ring in 2024. It's going to be at Visor's Rooftop Bar from 7 through midnight to about 1 a.m. We got elevated hors d'oeuvres. We got sparkling wine pairings. We're going to dance to the DJ Elio here all through the night. Got to be 21 and older, but the tickets are going fast.
And so how much are the tickets for?
The Visor party tickets are $125 a piece, and trust me, you'll get your money's worth.
Now, Coach, where can we purchase the ticket?
You can purchase the tickets at www.spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. We got JC for a few more minutes on the Titan MR hotline for home improvements. What you got?
We had a bowl game last night. Did you even know that? The
bowl game last night? Yeah, Marshall. Did they win or lose?
Yeah, the Roadrunners blew them out. I'm telling you, the Roadrunners, man, they won.
Well, they didn't have their quarterback. That last night they had Josh McCown's kid played quarterback for the Roadrunners, and then Chad Pennington's kid played for Marshall.
Well, the Marshall team comes out and scores 14 points to go up 14-0, and then the Roadrunners tied it. And it was close there for a little bit. And then Owen McCown and the Roadrunners go he went 251 with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, but Owen McCown over Cole Pennington. And that's what you had last night in the Frisco Bowl. So congratulations to Jeff Traylor is I'm surprised I'm surprised no one's picked him up yet, but maybe one day. But that was last night's Frisco Bowl, and then tomorrow we've got South Florida playing in a bowl game over in Boca Raton against Syracuse, if you can believe that. So that's happening on Thursday, and then Georgia Tech plays Central Florida, a future Gator opponent. The Central Florida Golden Knights charging on to play the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on Friday night, and then believe it or not, there's a game on Saturday. You've got actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on Saturday. 7. Wow. Kimmy, what's going to happen to all these bowl games? Well, I guess nothing's going to happen to them, but when the playoffs get started with 12 teams, I know they want to try to incorporate the major bowls with these playoffs. But man, these secondary bowl games like the one last night are just.
So JC, let me ask you this: since you brought that up, let's use the 12-team playoff.
Right.
So are they going to fill all the bowl games and then have the 12-team playoff, or is it like one of these deals where whoever loses, let's just say Ole Miss is playing Baylor in the first round, whoever loses that game, do they get to go to a bowl game?
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of logistics that need to be worked out. We're going to hear this during the off season, probably fill the talk shows with all this talk about the 12-team playoff come off season time. But you know what? The biggest thing I have about the playoffs, QB, and I've said this before, and I'm just going to keep pounding and pounding and pounding, is that the 4 teams that get the bye week will not have a home campus game. The 5 through 8 seeds will have campus games, and I know they don't get an off date, but I sure would love a campus game as a fan to go watch, because practically I don't know how people can travel week after week after week to go watch their team play in the playoffs. It's not realistic.
No. Facebook Live brought to you by Melon Law. But
it's not about.
Says Mark Hockey getting demoted, our strength coach, but apparently buyout was too much for us to let him go completely. I'm not familiar with that. Somebody can fill me in on that.
A buyout was too much for a strength coach? Is that what I just?
Well, I guess they demoted him. They're keeping him to do something else. Maybe he's going to have to carry weights, or I don't know what he's going to do. John says, I've heard Mertz on a couple of podcasts. Any chance you get him on your show? He's a great interview. Maybe. I'm not big on having current players on my show. It's just.
You're not?
No.
How come? They're pros now. I mean, they're paid players. You can.
Well, that's true. I mean, yeah, they're paid to go on these podcasts. So.
Well, I mean, I mean, they get compensation on the podcast and off the podcast, so they're basically paid guys. I'd think, hey, Graham, tell me what you.
I don't know. Andrew asked here, what happens if a cold weather school hosts a game? You got to bundle up, take your coats, and go.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Penn State.
Right.
Some of those Iowa will be in the 12-team playoff hosting somebody probably.
And let's say they are they're a 5 seed hosting the I guess they would play the 12 seed. Is that right?
What if they're hosting the Florida Gators and we have to go play in 15-degree temperature in
that'd be great.
Iowa City or wherever they play?
I think that would be awesome. And the thing is that I think the top 4 teams are missing that. They don't have to play that first round, of course, but I don't know. I mean, the fan bases are missing that. They have to go to neutral sites. I wish that was different. Maybe it will be. But
Greg says Arthur Smith makes $500,000 a season.
No, I have
There's no way.
I don't believe that. Poverty in Atlanta. I mean, my God, what's he like, Brock Purdy, and has to get a roommate to afford his lodging in Atlanta, Georgia? Brock Purdy's got to have a roommate to just survive in that ridiculous California, and so Brock will get paid at some point. He will. I really got to believe that when they win the Super Bowl this year, he'll definitely have to get paid. But I don't know why I'm going off on this 12-team thing. It's so far off, but it would be cool, I think, to know that this weekend we've got the Florida Mighty Gators playing in Iowa City, or Iowa City, or Penn State coming to Gainesville. How about the Nittany Lions? We are Penn State. We are Penn State. And they're rolling into Gainesville. How much excitement would that be? Then you definitely wouldn't be able to get anywhere in traffic because there wouldn't be any space to drive your car with all the Christmas shopping. And
Mark asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, did you pay Trent Whittemore when you used to come on? No, Trent had to do an internship.
Yeah.
Because he was in the journalism school. So
he came.
So we let him do that.
Yeah.
JC, we got a text on the Titan and Mark text line. It comes from Bob. Bob wants to know your thoughts on your Cowboys and your Eagles.
Well, the Eagles, somehow I thought the Eagles had the tiebreaker on Dallas, but when I look at the standings, Dallas is the number 2 seed in the NFC. Listen, Dallas has got a harder path. There's no question that playing Miami and the Lions is more difficult than playing the Giants and the Cardinals. So Dallas is going to be harder for them. Their play on the road has just been pedestrian and really mediocre. They need a home game. Dallas needs to be the 2 seed. They do not need to be a 5 seed because I don't think there's anything guaranteed in Tampa the way Baker Mayfield's starting to throw it. I don't know, man. I think that race is going to be interesting, but I think it's a harder path for Dallas. Right, Toto?
I don't think either one. I think a lot of teams have so much tape on the Eagles now.
Do you think it's
that
over?
They're struggling offensively.
Well, they are
struggling. They can't throw the ball well enough.
Well, they haven't thrown it. AJ Brown, you can see the frustration out there. You can see that he's just not, he's kind of a pain in the ass anyway. But Devontae Smith is wide open on underneath routes, and Jalen misses him. He missed him 3 times against Seattle the other night. When Devontae Smith had, you sometimes you take what the defense gives you, and Devontae Smith is wide open underneath, and Jalen tries to hit AJ because AJ's bitching on the sideline to throw it to him. Yeah. And I think that's the problem for Philadelphia. But I think you can get well quickly when you play the Giants and the Cardinals in back-to-back weeks, and then the Giants again. I think you can get your confidence back. But I think Hurts is suffering right now from a little bit of pressure and a little bit of confidence. When you've got wide open guys underneath that can get you first downs, and you try to throw it into double and triple man coverage just because some guy's bitching on the sideline, you're not doing your job. And I see that happening right now in Philly. And Jalen Hurts is a very mentally put together guy. I'm surprised it's happening.
Yeah. John says the Dolphins and Cowboys, somebody's got to beat a good team this week. Yeah, both those teams are the same teams to me.
Yeah.
They beat up on the bad teams and they get clobbered by the good teams.
Well, they do, and that's why they have to play at home. They need to play at home. The Dallas has to play host. It's like a different team. It's really incredible. But if they play at Tampa, that's not a guarantee at all. Not with the way Tampa is looking these days. I think Tampa is starting to play really well, and Dallas, they can beat anybody at home. They can lose to anybody when they have to play. And a 5 seed will not have a home game in all likelihood. So ever. So
Gators just got Tank Hawkins, wide receiver out of IMG Academy, supposed to be one of the fastest wideouts in America.
Good.
Put him, Mizell,
and
Andy Jean on the field together, please, with Trey Wilson. Let's go. Speed. Yeah, that's all I need is speed.
Hey, man, I think folks are going to be surprised, and they're going to be happy with the guys that come in here, regardless of how they get here. And maybe there'll be some optimism in there going into spring practice. That's all you can hope for. Again, Graham Mertz is going to feel good. What's the story? So how long does it take to recover from a clavicle or collarbone thing?
Oh, it's just a broken bone. So however long a bone takes to heal, 8 weeks?
So he should be all set for spring. Good.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. John Jett says, let's go 4 wides. We don't go 4 wides. Maybe we will this year. Hell, I hope. Not all the time. Just I love 11 personnel. It's my favorite grouping, but 10 personnel is pretty good. JC, what's 10 personnel? What's 10 personnel, JC?
10 personnel is 1 back and no tight ends. That's
excellent. So how many wide receivers do you have?
5.
No.
Oh, no. 4. Sorry, 4.
Yeah.
And 12,
it's all about math, JC.
Right.
You can only have 11 players.
Well, I like 12 personnel too, though. I've always gotten into 2 tight ends, dude. I love to pound that thing with 2 tight ends. I'm kind of old school that way, but I get you on 10. I get you on 10. It's kind of a new thing now, the way they phrase offense. But I'm kind of into that 12 person. And that's what Nebraska used to do when they were good, is have 2 tight ends and just bury you. But that hasn't happened in a long time. But I'm into the tight ends. I love the tight end position. I just think it's such an important part of your offense.
Rod asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, shouldn't you think, or I guess don't you think UF should invest their money in offensive tackles? Aren't they the highest paid in the NFL?
Oh,
well, they're the highest paid offensive linemen.
Well, that is the problem. We talk about line of scrimmage QB. We're talking about wide receivers and defensive backs. What are they doing about the hogs up front? We need to get some beef up there.
Well, they're trying. I mean, I try to tell people once again, the mighty Gators ain't the only people looking in the portal.
Right. But there's 2 issues here. There's a huge need on the defensive side and obviously on the offensive. So I know he's big on offensive linemen. He wants to get size in there, but just because you're big doesn't mean you're good. So
that is very true.
Yeah.
Because the Alabama guys struggled big time.
They did, but did you notice how they got better during the year? I mean, remember, you're working with 2 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior on the offensive line. It's not much experience.
Andy asked here, who do I think is going to win the MVP in the National Football League, Purdy or McCaffrey? I think McCaffrey's the most valuable player, in my opinion, because he can do so many things. But I think Brock Purdy will win it if they continue playing.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: the Niners have to have those guys healthy because they lost their 3 games when those dudes didn't play, and Purdy was still in the lineup. But Samuel was out, McCaffrey was out. I don't know about Ayuk, but the Niners with those guys playing, I think are fairly unstoppable. QB, honest to God, you need Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, and those guys from the '86 Giants to handle that, or the '85 Bears with Wilson, Marshall, and Singletary. I mean, you got to have linebackers that can run with those guys, and I don't know anybody in the league that can right now. I just don't. San Francisco does what they want to do, and if they're healthy, I don't see anyone beat them. That the NFL folks will not have as much drama as you think it will, especially in the NFC. He's not going to win in Santa Clara. The Niners aren't losing, and in the AFC, it's wide open. I think the AFC is kind of poor this year. Be honest with you.
Somebody on here says Shane doesn't want to pay for an interview. That's the people hosting the podcast don't pay the player. The collectives pay him to come on your show. That's where it comes from.
I think he's saying,
and honestly, I ain't paying for anybody. I think it's stupid.
You pay for me. You pay.
I don't pay you.
I get my $5.
Yeah, I don't pay you. My people take care of all that. I don't do nothing about it. I just turn the damn thing on and do the show. All right. These people are just saying JC loves a tight end. JC loves.
I love the tight end, man. I think all your offenses that win do it with at least some presence at that position, man. I mean, come on, QB. You know, Stabler and Dave Casper, just classic, right? That was so great watching the Raiders do their thing with Dave Casper. And I just think you win with Corey. Like your guy, when you played, who did you have? You had Kirkpatrick or
Kirkpatrick. I had him 1 year.
Yeah. How did he do for you? Is he okay?
He was pretty good. Good.
Yeah.
He would be a very small tight end in today's
How about Ben
Blues Over State Farm Office is a team of dedicated
good?
insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you, your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779.
You think Ben Tripp did okay? You like Ben Tripp?
Ben Tripp was very good.
Yeah.
All right, JC, we're going to let you go so you can go see who Alabama signed this morning.
Hey, they got some guy from A&M. They got a defensive lineman from A&M, and they're about to get a wide receiver from A&M.
You think they're going to get
Stewart?
What's his name? Evan Stewart?
I think they're going to get him, and they already got that big, nasty edge rusher. Oh my God, it's just going to be so good. Anyway, all right, I'll send you post. Well, wait a minute, Friday. Yeah, are we doing a show Friday? We are doing a show Friday, and then we're off on Christmas. Okay, then we're off on.
Yes, we are.
I'll be in Mississippi, in the great state of Mississippi, on Friday morning. Bright.
So JC, when you pull in, when you're coming off of I-10 and they got that welcome center, maybe they got some welcome to the SIP or come to the SIP T-shirts for you to go buy. Get you a magnet.
I'll go check it out and I'll have it for you on the show.
Get you a magnet with the magnolia flower on it.
Beautiful. I'll have it on the Friday morning from the back porch, baby.
I want a hat with a big magnolia on the front.
You do? Okay, I'll look for that.
For you to wear. I don't wear hats.
Oh, you don't wear hats. Okay, I'll look for it. What if I got you a visor with the Golden Nugget Casino on there? Would that look cool? Would you like that? Would you like? No. I have a Golden Nugget sweatshirt.
Dancing. I have plenty of dancing rabbit visors.
But hey, did you love my Golden Nugget sweatshirt and my Harris Casino, Biloxi, Mississippi sweatshirt?
I didn't see it. When did you wear that?
You don't know? You didn't know I had a Golden Nugget? Okay, I'll wear the Golden Nugget sweatshirt on Monday.
What does your sweatshirt say now? It's blocked out. You need to
a lightning, big one last night for the Lightning.
All right. Have a good day, JC. That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. Paul says with the portal, it's like the middle teams are farm teams for Georgia and UGA. I mean, they get the pick of the litter. I mean, they're getting a lot of A&M's kids. A&M lost a ton of kids off last year's roster, a ton. It's interesting how that happened. 1966 HBC beer is available at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Gator Games, and the O-Dome and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager. That's 1966 HBC beer. Text on the Titan MR text line comes from Jonathan. He says, Shane, how much do you think we were paying DJ Lagway? Ooh, I don't know the exact amount. I've heard rumors, and it's a lot. It's more than a lot of the NFL quarterbacks are making. Who knows if it's true or not, but good for him. Nothing against him. Go to the highest bidder. We obviously outbid Texas A&M to get him. Hopefully he becomes a good player for us. It'd be interesting to see what number he wears here. He's not going to wear number 2 because Montreal wears 2, unless he buys number 2 from Montreal, which he's going to have enough money to buy. Like you do in the NFL, you pay to have numbers. If somebody has your number, you stroke them a check or you buy him a car or something like that. Maybe he does that to wear number 2. So we shall see. Again, if you missed it last night, Gators win in double overtime against the Michigan Wolverines. Very exciting game. It was a lot of fun to watch for sure. Good win for the Gators. One that was definitely needed. And then we kick off, I think, as JC said, I think we have Grambling. And then SEC play starts with Kentucky at home, I believe, on January the 6th. Andy says DJ Lagway was named Max Prep's High School Player of the Year. Yes, he was. Congratulations to him. Michael on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, it sounds like this class will finish in the 20 range today. I think they're going to be a lot higher than that. I don't follow it. I think they'll be like number 9 or 10. Do you think that's acceptable going into year 3? Like I said, I don't follow recruiting. I don't really care where they're ranked. I just want to see production on the field. And sometimes those highly ranked guys don't produce. John says maybe Johnson takes the number 1 jersey. I mean, if you've always, that's your number, you stick to it unless you want to sell it. I've never understood the whole number 1 thing. Nobody will ever convince me of that. You wear the number you like. Let's see here. Ted says if Lagway's getting major money, is there pressure to play him next year? I mean, it's kind of that scenario. Well, we got a lot of money tied up in Graham. We got a lot of money tied up in quarterbacks. So it's like I told JC, if JC was a guy who stroked the check, or he was part of the group that stroked the check for player X, and player X is not playing, you're probably going to ask some questions. Rich has a pretty good question here, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, speaking of Jumpman, where does that money go, if any, to the school UAA? I don't know if they're giving them money. The way it usually works with shoe contracts is they give you X amount of apparel, but you're also buying that apparel. So I don't think Jumpman or Nike is stroking a check. That's the official uniform supplier of us. I could be wrong. I'll find out. I'll ask. Christopher said Wilson will have the number 1 jersey on offense. Okay. I wonder why he's changing from number 3. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed today's program. Real quick, Gravy Biscuit says Andre DeBose, Jacob Copeland, Ronald Powell, plenty of 4 and 5-star busts we've had. Yeah, I mean, not just us, but I think a lot of schools can say that. You don't know how guys are going to play once they get to big time football. 31 Ember says, do I know who the last Gator to win the Max Player of the Year was? I'd say Tebow would be my guess. Oh, no, maybe John Brantley. I know he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. I don't know if that's something different, but Richard says the average of the recruiting outlets altogether will have the Gators around number 9. Yeah, that's what I had heard as well. Hope everybody enjoyed today's program. We'll have Brent Beard on here. We'll break down all the SEC tomorrow. all the good stuff. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.